The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us for today's second and final session. We have an absolutely awesome session for you. Those of you who joined us for Andrew Knightlick session was pretty good, eh? Everyone was very much blown away and very excited by what he had to say. It was a really energy power pack session, but I think this one could even be better. So hold on to your seats and look forward to that. Before I do anything, as always, I would like to ask if you can raise your hand just to let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. Um, Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to put down your hands now. Now, as always, we would love you to post your feedback, comments, question on the Facebook wall. There should be a photo there of Drayton and Gary. Please post your comments and feedback underneath there, or you can just post it on the wall. We have a little competition going between the presenters of who gets the most comments and great feedback. So please, if you got fantastic value from today, then please do post that on there. That would be super. Now, what I would like to do is introduce Drayton Boylston. Drayton is the founder and CEO of the Executive Coaching University. Drayton founded and he's also the founder and CEO of the Boylston Group of Companies, which includes the Executive Coaching University. He's the global leader in executive coaching training. He's careertrainingprograms.com and the Rescue Institute. He is an internationally respected executive coach, trainer, speaker, author, and mentor, and he has demonstrated his innate leadership skills time and again, having risen to the highest levels in corporate America as well as civic organizations. Very real privilege to have Drayton with us today. Also, massive privilege to have Gary Henson, who is a master business coach trainer and industry thought leader. Gary is a master trainer for the new and existing business coaches all over the world. His company's coaching methodology provides an effective formula for an individual to become highly successful as a business coach. His organization trains their students on how to get started as a business coach and equips their students with the right tools to become skilled in the field of business coaching. So it's my great pleasure to hand over to Gary and Drayton. Over to you guys.
Ben,
Thank
thank
you,
you
Ben.
very much. Yeah, we're excited to be here. Gary and I are fired up about this, and it looks like we have hundreds of people here, Gary, that want to know a little bit about how to make some money as a coach.
I see that.
Yeah, very good thing. So I'm Drayton Boylston. I'm with my pal Gary Henson here, and we're going to spend the next hour and a half imparting as much as we can around this subject to make sure that you can earn more so you can serve more. So we're going to jump right into it. Gary, I'm anxious to get into all of this, and we've got a big lineup of things that we'd like to get to you over the 90 minutes. And also, we want to entertain questions. One of the most important things that we're here to do is to make sure we're touching all the points that you need. So at the end of our prepared information, we're going to be addressing any questions that you have. Type them into the box there. Ben will be looking at those as we present, and we will address as many of those questions directly as we move through the session. So please take advantage of this time. So welcome everyone, and what I'd like to do is go through exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to go through the top 10 list. And as I said, this is to help you earn more so you can serve more. We're in the service industry, and we want to give you as many tools as possible so you can go out and serve more people in an even bigger fashion. And we're going to march through this list. We're going to go back and forth in terms of our experience using these particular tools to make money. And again, if you have any questions, just let us know and we'll address those appropriately. We're also going to go through the product pyramid and tell you how to build your business and your offerings with this pyramid, and it's a really powerful tool. And then we're going to challenge you. We're going to challenge you to take some action, because all this knowledge, if you don't take any action based upon this, is not going to do you a bit of good. So we want to challenge you to take some action after this. Yes, this is an intellectual endeavor, and yes, it's also something that we want you to take forward and use today and this week so you can grow your business, because that's what we're here to do. So the top 10 list, and these are ones, we have this massive list that Gary and I have been working on for, gosh, the last 6 months, and we came up top 50 ways to make money as a coach, and it's continuing to grow. And what we did, we took the top 10 from that list that we have personally used over the years and trained hundreds and thousands of people to use as well, and just distilled this down to the top 10. And those are the ones we're going to focus on today and go in depth into each one of these and give you actionable things that you can use immediately. So we're going to start with one-on-one coaching. Gary's going to address the first 5 of these. I'm going to address the second 5. Then he's going to talk about group and team coaching. Then we'll get into the training and the workshops, and then go into assessments and facilitation, and then public speaking, all the things around that, and then referrals and thought leadership, and how to do what we're doing right now in terms of webinars and teleclasses. And then we're going to conclude with the product creation. So we'll go through each of these in depth. If you have any questions, as I mentioned, just send them over to Ben. He'll be looking at those, and we'll take the top ones as we get through this particular presentation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Gary, and he's going to jump into one-on-one coaching.
All right. Thank you, Drayton. Great introduction and a great beginning. And I want to mention to everybody, please have your pen and paper handy. Or your computer handy, ready to take notes. I talk really fast because I love these topics. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been working with clients. I've been training and certifying students and working with students to build their practice. So this is something that I absolutely love talking about, and I'm going to share with you my 25 years worth of experience and the best of the best. So what I'm going to leave out is some of the areas that haven't worked. I'm going to share with you areas that will work really well for developing and building your business coaching, your executive coaching practice. So our first slide here is one-on-one coaching. So where I would suggest that any of you start or continue your practice, the first thing I would look at is working with clients one-on-one. And before you look at adding other things, these other 9 areas that we're going to talk about to your business coaching practice, your executive coaching practice, that's the way that you can make the biggest difference for your clients, is working one-on-one with them. Now, I'm going to contradict myself in a few minutes when we get to the other slides, and I'm going to talk about other ways you can make a difference. But really, when you're sitting in front of an individual or when you're talking to them on the phone and you're working with them, you have an opportunity to make a huge impact and actually transform that person's life and make a major, major impact on A, the way that they do their business daily. B, you can work with them in ways that can absolutely transform the relationship that they have with their employees, with their vendors, with their clients, with everyone that they're associated with. You can help them and help them work through blind spots and areas where they can use some feedback, some accountability, somebody to work with them so that they can actually see the other side of the barrier that they're facing right now. Many of our clients, I was with a group of business owners yesterday. We were working in a group coaching session, and it's really amazing that when you look at working with people one-on-one, how many of different businesses, all different types of businesses, have the same kinds of issues. And if you want to focus on, or if you want to know where to look at to focus on some powerful issues, always keep in the back of your mind areas of time and money. Time and money. Always issues that surface almost invariably are connected to some version of time and money. So this is a great way, working one-on-one with clients, to bring forward and bring to the surface ways that you can make a difference with them. You can make a major impact, and it's also very profitable for you. If you do it right, if you understand how to work with your clients, how much to charge them, ways that you can leverage your time and their time, make the biggest difference for them. It can be a very great way for you to have a very successful and profitable practice. I know business coaches that charge as much as $400, $500, $600. Several of my colleagues charge $1,500 an hour and more to work one-on-one with clients. So I don't want any of you out there thinking that you have limitations in your life or have a limited income by working one-on-one with clients. Part of the secret is knowing how to work with them and how to position yourself. We don't have time to go into all the details today, but let me give you some really powerful hints as to what you can do when you're working in a business coaching environment. First of all, in the business coaching side of it, you're working from the top down and the bottom up. You work with everyone from the leader on down to, in group sessions, managers and VPs and other people in their organization. Typically, you touch everyone in the organization on a regular basis, maybe not once a month, but every other month you're in contact at some form or fashion with everyone in the organization. Maybe it's a group coaching session or an all-company meeting. Secondly, you want to sign a one-year agreement with your clients so that they know that it's a long-term process in coaching their organization and that you can't turn the organization around on a dime or make a transformational difference in a short period of time. The third thing is that you don't charge by the hour. You do it on a monthly retainer fee, and you want to make sure that they understand that you can fire them or they can fire you in a 30-day notice. So they hold you accountable, you hold them accountable, and that's the process of making sure that the business coaching arrangement works for you and for them, to make sure that there's accountability in place. You're holding them accountable to do their assignments, to follow through with what you guys have agreed to work on. And then finally, the way we teach our students, Drayton may work a little differently, and he can explain that on his side. We work with teach our students that what they want to do is work about 90 minutes or so with their clients once a week. 3 to 4 sessions a month on a regular basis, see them every week, hold them accountable, and make sure that they're following through and working through the issues that all of you, that both of you agree that you're going to work on in that they're going to work on in that 1 week period. And then the other thing that I frequently do is I give a little secret out to people. What do you work on in these coaching sessions? What are the areas that you and they work on together? Well, very simply, if you want to write this down, areas that you can always work on if you get to a coaching session and you don't know what to work on and you're not sure, they didn't do their homework assignment, they're not prepared, and you're not sure what to work on. Always remember you can work on what's working, what's not working, and what's missing in the organization. In my opinion, that's what you're there to do, is to work on them and find out what's missing in their organization, the difference to which, if you put that missing into place, then their organization will shift and move forward. So it's always about moving the organization forward, and if you can focus on what's missing and what's not working in the organization, then you'll always be able to create the what's next for them. So what's working, what's not working, what's missing, and then eventually you get to an action list of what's next for them to work on. And if you do those things, I think you'll have a very comfortable, very workable, very successful practice as we move into slide number 2.
Yeah, Gary, before we jump over to number 2, I just want to make a point here, because it's a question we get a lot, and that is, can I build my whole practice on one-on-one clients? And
great
quite
question.
frankly, yeah, it's a great question, and I'm sure a lot of you are thinking about this. Well, can I build it on just one-on-one clients and make enough money so I can grow my business? And the reality is, the answer is very rarely that you can. You need to make sure that it's, and a huge point here, you need to spend time on your strategy, and part of that strategy is figuring out exactly where the money will come from, your revenue. So in your one-on-one coaching, what we tell people is that about 20% of your overall revenue should come from one-on-one coaching. And as we talk about the other 9 things here today, think about percentages of those that will layer in. as part of your strategy. So you need to make sure when you're thinking about how you're building your practice, how you're growing your practice, that you focus on percentages of where that revenue will come from. And we have found that the burnout factor is huge if you try to build your business just simply in one-on-one coaching.
And again, Drayton, well put. And again, you must have a plan, and you must be prepared to do. If you do want to have a one-on-one coaching practice, and you're not looking at these other profit centers, then you have to have an extreme focus, a great plan, and a way to do that that works for you, works for your clients, and you don't burn yourself out. And it can be done, but you need to focus on that, and you need to make sure that you're very intentional about how you build your practice. Okay, Drayton, are we ready for slide 2?
Yep, we're good to go.
Good. Slide number 2, now we're talking about complementing your one-on-one coaching with other areas such as, slide number 2, group or team coaching. This is an opportunity for you to leverage your time and your talents and still have it be very profitable for you. So here's ways that you can leverage your time and your talents. As you're going through building your one-on-one practice, as you go through and you are intentional about the process of building your coaching practice, you want to look at how you can leverage that time and how you can best utilize that you have the same 24 hours in a day that every one of us have, and how can you build that practice to the size that you want and build it to the scale that you want. And here's a way to do that by leveraging your time and your talents. What you do is that some of your clients may not be available or may not be in close proximity to you or may not be able to afford the same one-on-one rates that other clients will. So here's an opportunity to do group or team coaching for you to work with a group of 4, 6, 8 people at a time. Do a group coaching process where you are working with more than one person at a time, and you have a program where they can get in and get out at a particular given time, and it's not going to hurt them in the process. Let me give you an example. So for example, if the first month you're working on strategic planning and business planning and having them come up with a plan for their business, and then you have other people that can join in on month number 2, you want to make sure that month number 2's topic dovetails with month number 1 and that they're not penalized, so that you have an ongoing process and you can actually build on that and have people jump in and jump out at any time. Now, Drayton would probably tell you that there's times when you want to start and stop these programs, and I'll let him address that or either agree or disagree with me on that part. But if you create a group and team coaching program where you can coach more than one person at a time and you create a model for that, it will complement and supplement your one-on-one coaching process beautifully. And I've actually had people tell me that they've had one-on-one coaching clients that then eventually get into a group coaching program and vice versa. So you can actually have work both sides of the street at the same time, and people after a while of one-on-one coaching may get into your group coaching program and vice versa. And again, it works very powerfully and very profitably for you. And here's the bullet point number 3. It taps into the power of the collective wisdom of the entire group. So one of the beautiful parts about this is that not only are you not doing all of the coaching or doing all of the speaking and training during the meeting, but you're actually using the wisdom and having feedback from other people. And other people are using their wisdom and their experience and their stories to complement you. And as long as you understand how to facilitate these meetings, it can be very, very fruitful for them, and they can get a cross-pollination of other people's talents and skills and background. The skill set that you'll need to develop is making sure that you match the right types of people in the group and making sure that those people in that group are a nice match and a nice complement for one another. Drayton?
Yeah, this can be really exciting, folks. When you get with a group of people that are there for personal development, there's an unbelievable energy that happens when you do this work. And one thing I want to make sure we differentiate here, group coaching, you can have people from different companies, different parts of the world, and put together group coaching programs. Also, the team coaching part of this, if you have a one-on-one client, you should be playing that trusted advisor role with this one-on-one client that's inside an organization at a managerial or above level, and talk to them about doing team coaching, and talk to them about working with their teams so they can interact better, they can have better outcomes, there's better culturally, there's so many opportunities here within organizations. So what we ask you to think about is, if you've got a one-on-one client, think other ways that you can be of service to them. So think beyond just that one-on-one work and think about, okay, they're inside the organization, we're hearing all these points of pain that they have inside doing their job, and what else can you help them with? And 99% of the time you'll find that it's an opportunity to go into that organization deeper than just that one-on-one contact, and work with teams inside that organization to help them address their points of pain. There's so many opportunities around this, and we just want to make sure that you keep your eyes open to all of them.
Excellent. Now we move to the next slide here, training and workshops. And I want to take just a moment here before I get into this to say that it's up to you, as Drayton says, to choose how you're going to spend a certain percentage of your time working with people, and how you're going to leverage and build your practice. So I don't think you're going to be able to do all 10 of these different areas that we're going to expose to you today and talk about all the different areas that we're going to share with you today, but find your passion, find what you're passionate about. And when we get to this particular slide here, the third topic, training and workshops, I absolutely love, and I'm very passionate about it, and I'll tell you why. The first point is you help develop the client and their entire staff, the entire group of people inside of the organization. Let me give you an example. I've worked with clients in past years where things were going great. The one-on-one coaching was doing really, really well. And they had a type of a business where there was a number of people inside of that business that interfaced with their clients. And you might call them salespeople or customer service people that interfaced with the clients on a regular basis from different departments and different products and services that were provided by my client. I saw a weakness inside of their sales. I saw weaknesses inside of customer service. I saw weaknesses that they couldn't see, blind spots, that even though they may have been one of the top people in their industry and their sales may be over the top, they were leaving money on the table and they were not completing the sales cycle in many cases. And I would say to my client, look, you're paying me $4,000 a month as a retainer fee to work with you, but I can come in on a Saturday and take 8 of your people and work with them for an entire day for an additional $3,000 for that particular day, and we'll have a training manual and a follow-up system for them so that your sales manager and your sales team will probably grow your sales by 10, 15, 20%, even more if we take the extra time to train them. So there's topics like sales training and planning and strategic planning and action planning, customer service and excellence, team building, leadership, and all types of topics like this that you can do additional work with your existing one-on-one clients or potential clients. A lot of times people can't see the power of coaching, so you can work with them, do a training process, and bring that as an add-on to the coaching or to introduce them to your coaching process. And again, it leverages your time, your talents, it's additional profit centers for you, it's growth for your clients, and it helps these organizations grow their human capital in a way that really makes an impact. Not just the one-on-one coaching, not just the development of their culture as you're working with them in the coaching process, but also to train and add on trainings. And occasionally, before I turn it over to Drayton here, occasionally you even bring in outside people. Sometimes there's something that you don't have the skill set to train and you don't understand that. You bring in people from the outside and use them to train your clients to help accelerate the entire coaching process. Drayton?
I love the example you gave, Gary, because what it points out to me, and I want to emphasize this for all of you, is that you are in the role of a trusted advisor. When you have the mutual respect and the relationship with these clients, these one-on-one clients, and you can look objectively at their points of pain, their organizational challenges, you are uniquely positioned to give them suggestions on how they can address those points of pain. And you can see things that they cannot, no matter how smart. We've seen the best and the brightest and worked with huge organizations, and it's true they just can't see the forest for the trees. And you are in a position where you can say, I've noticed this, and here's an option that you may want to employ. So play that role of trusted advisor. Know that you can go in and do this training and do these workshops and help them in many other ways than just that one-on-one work.
Absolutely. Love it. Just love it. Next, we're going to talk about another one of my favorite topics as adding on to the other types of coaching that you're doing with your clients, and it just makes perfect sense. Now, again, I want to emphasize, can't be all things to all people. Not everybody is as passionate about the topic of profiles and assessments as I might be, but it really has your clients understand better their employees and the personalities of their employees when you use profiles and assessments. Profiles and assessments are those electronic profiles personality profiles that sometimes coaches provide for their clients so that they can look under the hood of their employees and really get an idea of where the strengths and the weaknesses are based on that individual. And the beautiful part about it is it's completely objective. It is completely outside of anyone's control. The person takes the profile. It reports their personality, such as DISC or one of these kinds of 360 leadership profiles, and then you can sit down with the client and the employee, or the employer can sit down with the employee and look at them and see their strengths and weaknesses and know where they can work with them and shore them up better and know where their strengths are, and sometimes even move them from one job description or one area of the organization to another based on their strengths, where they can be utilized better and leverage that employee's strength so that it can help the organization. So many organizations that I've worked with years ago didn't understand profiles and assessments. They didn't know how to use them. In many cases, hadn't heard of them. So when I brought these in and introduced them to the organization, they were absolutely thrilled that they could get an outside objective influence, a profile that showed the strengths and the weaknesses of that individual, so they could even tell in some cases when to give them a promotion or support them in ways that they never had opportunities in the past. And as I've said, as I've talked around and not specifically said, it gets people in the right seats in the organization. So it's really a way to leverage people and do a great job of making sure that you have the right people in the right seat on the bus and that they're driving the bus in the right direction. Drayton?
I think one of the key points here is what Gary just finished with, getting the people in the right seats, the right people in the right seats. Gallup just came out with a poll about employee engagement. And they found this worldwide poll, 100 countries, they found out that the level of engagement worldwide averages 11%. 11%. So we know in the United States and Canada, Canada's about 32%, the United States 30%. So as a trusted advisor, as this coach coming in and helping organizations, assessments can be used to help raise their level of engagement, which in turn impacts their bottom line in a huge way. So imagine helping an organization take it from 11% to even double it to 22%. You can do that when you use these assessments and figure out interests of people and where their core competencies are and their skills reside. And you can help impact the bottom line of an organization in a big way just by using assessments.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. Beautifully put. And next we're going into meeting facilitation. Again, another one of my favorite topics. I love this topic, and it's so powerful for your clients. There's so many ways that you can do this. So number one, first of all, I want to say that most leaders of organizations, and I've interviewed in the last 25 years, interviewed and worked with 7,000 leaders of organization. Most leaders of organizations do not know how to conduct a meeting, and certainly they don't know how to have the meeting be conducted productively and effectively. So one way that you can help your clients is to sit in some of the meetings that they have, and particularly strategic meetings and meetings where you think that you can where you or they can impact the organization powerfully, and for you to sit in those meetings and to set up a meeting so that there's a purpose for the meeting and a timeline for the meeting, so that this doesn't run on and on and nothing get done. So you want to have, a lot of times what I do with clients is set up an intention and an outcome. In fact, I would write that down. The intention of the meeting today is, and the outcome that we want to produce in that meeting is, and the timeline for the meeting that we want to allow is 1 hour or 1.5 hours. And make sure that people understand before you start the meeting that that's the timeline. You can be a tremendous service and help leaders facilitate meetings just by using that little tool right there. The other thing is you can bring insights from an outside perspective into that meeting, so you can help them see how a meeting can be run, not only by the intention and the outcome of the meeting and setting the time frame, but there's other perspectives that you can bring in, because you haven't been a part of the way they've been doing these meetings for months or years or decades, and that's the way we do it around here. And you can break up that status quo, and you can create an extraordinary momentum, an extraordinary result for that meeting that's really, really powerful, that they could never even have imagined, because you come in from the outside and bring that outside perspective into the meeting and help them learn how to be more effective, more productive, ways that they can be more efficient in operating their meeting. And then my favorite my favorite topic about this is executive retreats or annual meetings, or twice a year hold an executive retreat meeting where they go off-site and you help facilitate the meeting. This is just really, really productive way for the coaching to impact an organization and take people out of the office environment. You can even go down the street and go to a hotel room and right down the street from their office if that's what it takes, or if you want to go away for a weekend and facilitate an executive retreat for them to plan and facilitate what the next 6 months or what the next 1 year is going to look like, so that every one of the leadership or leaders in the organization is on the same timetable, has the same plan, has the same perspective, so that for that next time period, everyone knows what the plan is, and then have somebody inside of the meeting take notes so that they distribute the notes. This is what we agreed upon, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to operate for the next 6 months or a year, whatever the timetable that you set for that meeting is. And again, a great outline for a meeting like that is to take a look at what's been working for the organization for the last time period, what's not working, what hasn't been working. Make a list of these two categories: what's working, what's not working, what's missing. Sometimes it takes a little bit of imagination and creativity, and you help facilitate them, what's missing, and then that gives you the fourth category, what's next. You come up with a list of what they're going to do next and how they're going to proceed from this point looking forward, with a list of action items that they're going to do for that next time period, that next time frame, that's going to take them from where they are now, level A, to where they want to be, level B, in that 6-month or 12-month time period that you've all agreed upon that they're going to work with together. And Mr. Boylston, I assume that you'd want to add something to what I just said.
Yeah, you know, a couple of things pop out for me, Gary, and the first one is that if you are a good coach, which we know that you are, you can be a great facilitator too. This does not take any other skills other than very good coaching skills. You want to have the structure, as Gary alluded to, but in these meetings, the most important thing that happens is that you listen and ask great questions. You listen and ask great questions. You draw people out, and you get the chemistry going and enhancing that. So know that you have everything that you need right at this very moment to do this facilitation work. There's no doubt about it. The second point I want to bring up, Gary, is to piggyback on what you said in terms of organizations that are we won't say dysfunctional, but I'll say dysfunctional at the top. And I'll give you an example. I was with a company just a few weeks ago. They have 13,000 employees. They have $2 billion in revenue. And the CEO was astute enough to bring me in to help facilitate an off-site retreat that he had with his leadership team. I had done my homework, of course, and talked to some people in advance of that and asked how the meetings were held before, and they were train wrecks. There would be these fights going on, just, you know, verbal squabbles, and then the CEO would launch into a monologue that would last 2 or 3 hours, and their takeaways were a cumulative 0 from these meetings. So these are bright Ivy League people that could not conduct a meeting themselves. And what I want you to know about this is that it's not a reflection of them as people and leaders. It's a fact that if they're in those positions, it's nearly impossible for them to facilitate well and to have constructive conversations because they're part of it. And what we ask the senior people to do is check your title at the door. Our request is check your title at the door and then operate as an equal member of this team as we go through this. So Gary, for me, it's an exciting opportunity that a lot of coaches don't ever think about. And there's so much potential here. Again, you've got that one-on-one client. Speak to them about bringing you in as a trusted advisor to help facilitate their meetings. And this can grow. It can go from your client to other people inside the organization.
Absolutely. And as you pull to the next slide there, Drayton, I just want to add, I've actually had clients, Drayton, that I've worked with, and it started out, they asked me to do an annual retreat for them, or in November, December, could you facilitate our business planning retreat for the next year? And that's how I got the client. They did such a great job of facilitating the meeting, and they could see the value of bringing a coach in from the outside that they ended up after that signing a 1-year agreement to help them live out their plan and facilitate the plan being activated throughout the rest of the year and hold them accountable to staying on track for the plan.
Yes, and that it can lead to more and more. You can come at this, as you said, from the flip side. Another thing that's important to note, this is incredibly lucrative. You're going to be charging between the low end of, you know, $2,500 to $3,000 for a half-day event, let's say, to $20,000 for a multiple-day event. And I hope everybody's going cha-ching, cha-ching, because that's really the opportunity here, especially at the senior levels. They're not going to bat an eye if you charge them $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to help them with that facilitation piece. So it can be very, very lucrative.
I love that.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, that's what we're here with. That's what we're talking about today, making money. So let's talk about public speaking. So some of you may be going, oh my goodness, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to get in front of crowds. I want you to reconsider if you're coming at it from that vantage point. This can be such an important thing to do, and we can talk about different ways that you can do it. But one of the things, and you'll see in just a few moments here, one of the things we want you to think about is becoming a thought leader. And as a thought leader, speaking to other people in the way that we're doing here and physically in front of groups is a big part of it. So if you haven't gone to Toastmasters or any kind of public speaking training, you may want to do it. because this creates so many things for you as a potential and future thought leader. And whether it's speaking at the chamber or speaking in a group, let's say that you're doing some team coaching and some group coaching, and you're going to need to do some monologues. So you need to get comfortable with that in terms of setting up the meeting, in terms of concluding the meeting, and being comfortable in it. And we're not big fans of giving away your time, so think about ways to make money speaking in public and value your time and your expertise and charge what you are worth. There are a number of coaches that become a thought leader on a specific subject and go on to make thousands upon thousands of dollars in keynote speeches. In maybe it's a workshop for some kind of organization. There are different ways to do this. And as you start thinking about this and developing your messaging as a thought leader, you will be creating intellectual property. Maybe you're going to create a process of personal development in your particular niche. There are so many ways. We want you to think that every time you open your mouth, you're creating intellectual property. So trademarking and copywriting your speeches, your process, everything that you do, a course that you may create, that you conduct and deliver publicly, you're creating intellectual property, and that has value. Because, for instance, you can give a speech, you can have it recorded, whether you do it or have an outsider there, video or just audio, and you can turn that into a product. And it's probably one of the easiest ways to create a product virtually in just a matter of hours. And every time you get in the front of the room, you will be enhancing your image, your profile. You're going to increase your confidence. It's going to benefit you in so many different ways. So we want you to become comfortable with this. You can create products. You can create so many things. It's going to boost your image as a thought leader, and we'll talk in detail about that in just a moment. But it is a great way to, as we look at your business and you look at the strategy you have, make sure you have a piece of that 100% of your time that's devoted to public speaking. Gary, what are your thoughts around this?
Ditto, complete agreement, and I would just add one thing. Drayton touched upon it and said we're not real big fans of doing speeches for free. I would make sure that you have, if you're going to do something that you're not getting paid for, I would make sure that you have a guarantee of X amount of people that are going to be there. I would make sure that it's your target market, so that you're not speaking to a group of people that could never want or need your service. And then finally, I would not put my brochures at the back of the room and count on a lot of people going up and going like, that was a great speech, so I'm going to pick up a brochure and call them and hire them as a coach. I would have some kind of free report or some way that they could get a hold of you that's an incentive for them to go to your website and order on the hand out your cards, put on the back of your card, get this free report on how to improve your business, or a free white paper on whatever your topic is, and have them go to your website, sign up for that, so that everyone has an incentive to go to your website and get to learn more about you, and sign up on your website so you can put them on your newsletter list or whatever. You don't want to waste your time. You want to be creative and find creative ways to follow up with people if you're going to invest your time in speaking.
Yeah, it's a great point, and I want to magnify that in terms of it's bigger than just the public speaking, in terms of not selling yourself short. So if you're going to spend time on something, you should make money based upon that. So we run across so many coaches around the world that don't value themselves enough, and so their fees in terms of everything that they do, from one-on-one coaching to maybe a speaking engagement, are much lower than they should be. So know that what you have and what you deliver, what you teach, what you help people with is very, very valuable. Don't underestimate it. Charge what you are worth. So let's talk about referrals, because one of the things we hope that you see with all of this is that you need to build what we call our suite of services. And in that suite of services, you'll have one-on-one coaching, you'll have group coaching, public speaking. All these things are part of your suite of services that hopefully you'll have on your website and that you can recite when people say, what do you do? You've got that down, and here's some of the ways that we do that. And you go through the litany of things that you can do. Another big part of that is bringing as a trusted advisor. You have the ear of these executives, people that are in leadership positions. Therefore, they're going to come to you and say, do you know anybody that does this? We need some help with our hiring process, or we need some help with our sales process. Do you know anyone that does that? You want to build your suite of services and have a referral network of people that you have vetted, that you have under your corporate umbrella to bring in for certain projects. And what this does is it can create an income source for you that doesn't involve you having to do the work. So when we bring people in, and we have a whole host of people we bring in depending on the project and the needs of our clients, we'll bring them in under our umbrella, we'll deploy them on a particular project, and we'll make usually about 20% of what they're charging out billed through us, but they're doing the work. And they love it because they're finding business without having to do any marketing. They know and trust us, and we know and trust them, and we're making money while we're doing other things. So it's a really, really good model. And what you'll find too is that it's kind of that quid pro quo. So you do something for them, bring them into a project, and then they'll do the same thing for you, this boomerang that we have on the screen. That's exactly what will happen. So it becomes this self-perpetuating model that is really robust. And we want you, I'm going to go back to this trusted advisor piece. Know that you are in that position when you have these relationships with people. Know that they will trust and respect you, and therefore you have a unique opportunity to help them in other ways than just that one-on-one work. So you can help them find all these other people. We get calls all the time from clients, and they say, boy, you know, I thought I'd call you first because you know so many people and you've got a great network, and do you know anyone that does this? And the vast majority of the time we do. And that's the position we want you to hold within your network as well. You're the go-to person. You're the person that always has a great database and can introduce people to people that they want to know or need to know. So take advantage of that, and I say that in a very good way, not take advantage in terms of manipulation. It's more understand that you're uniquely positioned to help your clients in multiple ways, and one of those is referrals. Gary, got some good referral stories?
Just want to add to that, I think you did a perfect job of describing that. I just want to add, be creative, and think of ways that you can add to your income by taking to heart what Drayton said and leveraging your time, your relationships, and your client base.
Yes, yes, and taking inventory of all those things and appreciating exactly what you've got that may have been uncovered heretofore. Yeah, well said, well said. Thought leadership. I am unbelievably passionate about this subject because I know for a fact that this is the key to being a successful coach or anyone in our particular space. And we want you to think in terms of being a thought leader. So you may freak out and go, oh my gosh, how am I going to be a thought leader and what am I going to be a thought leader on? We want you to spend time thinking this through. And it starts with having a laser focus on your particular niche. We want you to go narrow and deep and become a thought leader in a very specific area. I have yet to see a coach that's just shotgun-based, just buckshot-based that has been successful. Oh, I can coach anyone. You ask a lot of coaches, well, who's your target market? Oh, everyone, because everyone needs coaching. that's a recipe for failure, and very rapid failure. So we want you to go narrow and deep and think about it in terms of being a thought leader. And we run across so many coaches that are like, oh my goodness, I'm not a thought leader, and what that shows to us is it's a lack of confidence. You are a thought leader. Look back at your journey. Look back at the things that you have gained over your lifetime in terms of lessons learned, and think about how you can take all of that and turn it into a thought leadership position for individuals that are going through similar things that maybe you already have gone through. And it's elevating yourself to a whole different level, and not just being a coach, but being a thought leader. So as a thought leader, you're going to write about things and become a lightning rod for certain subjects. You're going to completely differentiate yourself because you're being very specific, that narrow and deep approach to your target market, very specific in terms of who you're here to serve. And the vast majority of the time, it's people that are going through things that maybe you've already gone through. And as you become a thought leader, you write about it. You may write an ebook. You may write a full book. You may do all these other things. You may have a blog that gets super popular. That's what we want you to think about. When you do this, you'll be worth a lot more money. If people look to you and go, oh, yes, Jerry here is a thought leader in X, you're going to be worth a lot more, in fact, multiples more than you would if you're a generalist coach. So we want you to hone in on the market that you're serving. Think about how to position yourself as a thought leader, and that's simply done by writing on the subject, creating products around the subject that you can sell, and becoming known for that thing. So part of the homework, Gary, I feel compelled just to give them some homework now. So just right now, write down exactly what you want to be a thought leader in. So right now, if somebody came up to you and said, you're a thought leader in what? Write down what that would be. And then take it from, certainly listen to us for the rest of this time, but be thinking about this and do some work. When we conclude today, give some thought, go quiet for a few minutes and think about this. I can be a thought leader in blank. I am a thought leader in blank. And see what pops up for you. So Gary, you're a thought leader in the business coaching realm. So what does that mean to you?
Can you restate the question? What does it mean to me, and in what context? As being a thought leader in the business coaching industry?
Yeah. So as a thought leader, what are your responsibilities? How did you get there? Why don't you tell people how you got to be a thought leader?
Yeah, great. That's a great example. I was going to use my dentist example, but I think this is even a better example. Throughout the years, what I noticed is that nobody was stepping up to be the thought leader in the business coaching arena. And as I worked with clients from 1989 to approximately 1999, I wanted to look for and find somebody who was a thought leader in the industry who could mentor me and take me to another level. And I couldn't find that. And so I started looking at our methodology, and I started looking at how could I train other people to use our methodology. So I started writing articles and training and certifying other coaches around the world would come to me, and I would train them and put them through our training and teach them our methodology. Over time, after about 3 or 4 years of that, some of the articles that I wrote, some of the white papers I wrote on the subject, a gentleman in Tokyo contacted me and said, I want to come over and meet you. I'm going to be in California. I want to meet you and talk to you about your methodology. Hosokawa, the #1 business coach in Japan, is my boss, and he thinks that you can train him and teach him some things about how to become better as a business coach. He wants to learn your methodology. And it just kept happening to me and happening that way. And again, I didn't at first declare myself as a thought leader. I just started writing articles coming from the place of being a thought leader, Drayton, and eventually became one of the thought leaders in the business coaching industry, because I didn't talk about life coaching and personal coaching and executive coaching and leadership coaching and corporate coaching. I just focused on the one area of business coaching, and that was all that we talked about, and that's all that we did, and that's the only type of people that we trained to learn our methodology were people in the business coaching arena. And eventually, I was just thought of as the thought leader, or one of the thought leaders in the business coaching industry.
I think that is a beautiful example, folks, and what I hope you heard in Gary's story about that is that he filled a void. And you'll find that to be the case when you go narrow and deep and look at your life's journey and figure out how you can, what particular thing you can be a thought leader in. There's usually going to be a void in that. There's probably no one in that space filling that void. So as Gary filled the void in the business coaching world, you can do the same thing when you get very specific about who you're focusing on. So I hope you made some notes around this. I hope you take this and go quiet for a few minutes when we conclude here and think about, okay, just kind of do a replay of your life and what you've learned and the challenges you've overcome, and see how that will help you determine what you are a thought leader in. Because, Gary, I'm completely convinced everyone is a thought leader in something. Just like you, they may not realize it yet. And now's the time to give it some thought. So please do so. Now, what are we doing right now? You're in the midst of a webinar. You signed in, you are here learning, and webinars and teleclasses are simply just the audio piece without the video like we're doing here with the slides today. This is a wonderful way to make money. And one of the coolest things about this is that every time you do this, remember earlier when I said every time you speak, capture it and turn it into something. This will help you do that. And you don't have to stress about getting a big audience and having hundreds of people like we have with us today from the get-go. You don't have to do that. What you can do is, and you can Google right after this program, you can Google free webinar systems, free teleclass systems. There's a bunch of them out there that you can access for $0. And you can use those to start recording webinars and teleclasses without an audience if you so choose. And what you do is you're going to become much more confident. You'll become that thought leader. You'll think about the topics. This will give you some discipline because you'll have to think about the topics that you want to speak to, that you want to teach about, and that will force you and encourage you and inspire you, hopefully, to become a thought leader in your particular target market. And so when you have that deadline, let's say you say a week from today, and that's a very foreseeable, very achievable deadline. A week from today, I'm going to schedule a teleseminar. And I'm not going to market it right now because I'm not going to worry about that stuff. But what am I going to speak on? I'm going to speak on, and so think about that. What are you going to speak on? And then you go to the system. You speak on that for 30 to 90 minutes, depending on what you want to do. There's no exact formula that you have to do it for an hour and a half. You can do it for 15 minutes, or you can do it for 2 hours if you so choose. And what you do, it's going to force you to articulate your message, something that you're training on. And when you capture that, you've just created your first product, potentially, if this may be your first. So you're going to create products that you can slice and dice and maybe take sections of that and sell it a la carte with some other things that you're doing, a white paper, an ebook, whatever it might be. And then it becomes this, we put down here, evergreen. Well, you can put it on your website, and this is product for $79 or $279 or $379, whatever you end up doing, and you're going to start making money while you sleep. So go back to the thought leadership thing. Think about who you are serving. Think about what your points of pain that you're helping them with, and then simply speak to those. Come up with a webinar or a teleclass, teleseminar about that particular subject. Do a recording on that, and voila, you have your first product. And it's forced you to think about these things, to go narrow and deep, to get disciplined, and to create a product. And you can do this, literally, you could do this within hours of this program. So Google the free teleclasses, make sure they have a recording mechanism, which all the ones I've seen do, and then just go in there, commit whatever period of time, and speak to what you know. And Gary, I love this because when I think about webinars and teleclasses, I've done 3 this week, and every single one of them energized me to no end. I love to reach new people. We happen to do these with audiences, but also we captured them, and the people that were on them together all have these products now that we can use and deploy in different ways. And it just automatically creates product if you're focused on that. And it's such a great way to get these messages out.
Absolutely, and I love this whole topic. And what I would suggest to people, both in the thought leader category, which gets into webinars and teleclasses, and you've wrapped products into that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. What I would suggest to people is find something, as Drayton said, that you're really, really passionate about. Find something that you're passionate about. So there could be somebody who's on this webinar today, Drayton, who is a dental hygienist, and this person would like to be a coach, and they want to go full-time into executive coaching or full-time into business coaching, and they're looking at this and they're thinking, okay, I can learn how to coach, so, but what am I passionate about? What if you just became a coach for dentists or for dental hygienists or for periodontists or something like that, and you were the thought leader because you know the industry, you understand those different distinctions, you understand that, and you started blogging and writing and becoming over time the thought leader on that particular topic. And then people look at you and say, well, I don't want to just hire any coach or a coach. I want to hire this coach because they have experience. They're speaking my language. Now you've gone to dental hygiene school, you become a hygienist, you become successful at it, you know the language, you know the struggles, you know the ups and downs of the industry. Why not become the thought leader in that? And as far as I know, nobody is in that right now. So there's an opportunity for people, and whatever you do, whatever you've got been doing in the past, if you've loved it, if you're passionate about it, and you no longer want to do that, you want to get into coaching, this is something that you understand industry-wide, you understand where people meet, you understand the conventions they go to, you understand where they buy their products from. Why not write about it? Why not blog about it? Why not become the industry leader and let some of that passion that's been boiling inside of you out, and let other people share in your experiences and your background, and they'll flock towards you to want to be their coach over time, and you'll have a beautiful little niche market there that you could explore.
I think that's a terrific example, because what I see people doing, Gary, when they hear that is, oh, I hadn't thought that, okay, just in my position doing what I do, I can be a thought leader in that, and somebody might need that. Well, we've seen thought leaders. I saw one a while back that was a thought leader for belly dancers. Now, it's truly, this was their niche, and they served people all over the world, and they were making $1 million+ a year doing it. So just don't dismiss these small niches that you think are, oh, no, I need to be, one of the big names out there before I can consider myself a thought leader. Thought leadership is just knowing one more thing than your audience. That's all it is. You just happen to be one step ahead of them, and you're continuing to learn, and they're growing with you. I think you just continue to think about this, folks, because it really is the key.
Beautiful.
Product creation. Yeah, there's so much around this, Gary, and we get so fired up because there's so many ways to make money doing what we do, and and it's just limitless, and that's where we want you to think bigger and think about all these different options. So the key to product creation, just talked about in terms of webinars and teleclasses, teleseminars, you can create a product that way. The key with all this is to focus and to think small at first. So as I gave the example of, get in on a free service, write a script about what your talk or what you're going to teach about, and create that first product. Have that first recording, let's say, or write a white paper, and that doesn't have to be daunting. It could be 3 to 5 pages, just an executive summary. Or create that, maybe convert that into an ebook and get a contractor on Odesk.com or Elance.com and just have it done for minimal cost. One thing that I find, and this may elicit some chuckles from the audience, coaches love to chase the new projects. And we love that shiny penny and go jump for that and chase that shiny thing over here and get all excited about the new project, and we don't finish the last one or the last 10 or the last 20. So we know that focus is a big piece of this. That's why we want you to think of something small, like doing that recording that you can do very, very quickly and for $0, and use that as a building block. Use that as a confidence builder so you will go and do more. But instead of starting 3 and 4 projects at a time, focus on one. So park all those other projects that you've got, and I bet you've got a tablet somewhere or on your computer in a Word document, all these projects, right? Things you want to do, and none of them are getting done. So focus on one small project to start. When you taste that success and you see the creation, what happens, and all of a sudden it's a product that you can sell, it will help you as a building block. It'll be the foundation that you need to go and do more. So everybody thinks, Gary, the whole product thing is so daunting, and I've got to get CDs made, and I've got to get covers made, and I've got to get a fulfillment house. And you don't have to go there. You just start very, very small and see where it leads.
Absolutely. And you know how I created one of my first products, Drayton?
No, tell us.
I wrote a white paper, and the white paper was posted on our website, and it was out in the world and on the web and so on and so forth. And every once in a while, somebody would make a comment about, how come you didn't talk about this, or why didn't you add that, or, you know, and so on and so forth. And I started looking at some things that were missing inside of it. And so I started making notes, like I was going to write a next edition of that white paper or whatever down the road. And after a while, the notes got so big, it would end up being like a 30-page white paper. So I just took my notes and I organized my notes, took the white paper and the topic, realized it was a viable topic, and I just got a recorder out and I started walking through the highlighted categories of the white paper and elaborating on each area. And it turned out to be, by the time I got done, it was 3 one-hour CDs. And then I looked at that and I thought, well, it describes perfectly what I want people to understand and what I want them to get. I'm not sure if it's quite a product yet, so I thought what's missing is it needs some documents to go with it to support it, because the words that I put into the recordings were organized, and I think they were kind of spot on in the way that one recording led to the next and the next one to the next. So then I just looked through my files, and I got about 20-something pages worth of support items and created a little binder for that, and that ended up to be a product. I just grabbed a recorder, organized my thoughts, and did it, and then finished the product off. And like you said, stay on task, finish the product, don't get too many, don't start 4 or 5 at a time. Pick a topic, pick the one that fits inside of your thought leadership and that's going to complement what you do, and grab a recorder and start making recordings. And nowadays, editing equipment is so easy to edit stuff. You can just edit out any of your mistakes or redo areas that you want to make them better, and you've got yourself a product. Start small.
Yeah.
Don't make it complicated.
Yeah, and therein lies the key. Don't make this a science project. And Gary, I love your story, so I'm going to share my first product story too, because it was. I look back on it and I go, really? It was that easy, right? So what I did is I put together a course, and it was a 3-session teleclass. No webinars before webinars even were happening. It was a teleclass. So I got on the phone and I charged. I think we charged $379 a person for 3 of these teleclasses. And we had a bunch of people on there, and so I recorded everything, and then I took that recording and I had it transcribed. Didn't cost a lot of money, and then just had a particular group that did focuses on this. They put it in a little booklet format, as Gary was saying, and then we stamped the CDs, went to a fulfillment house, and voila, had the first product. I got paid doing the class, and I continue to this day getting paid for that evergreen product by people that are getting it. It's not, we don't do this one so old, it's not in digital format only. This is an actual product, but there are fulfillment houses, folks, you can go to, but we don't want you to focus on necessarily doing that complex of a project right now. Think small, do the first recording, build upon that success. And Gary, speaking of building upon, we're going to give you the Great Pyramids of Egypt here. So this is the product pyramid. Now this is something that we came up with years ago. And this is the foundation of how you should look at your product portfolio. And I know it's a lot on the screen and it's small type. I'm going to just hit the highlights for you. The first thing is at the top of this, focus, focus, focus. We want you to focus just on one thing at a time. Do not try to do all of these at once. Do not try to do more than one at a time. So at the bottom of the pyramid, and this is from free to highest dollar investment. And what we want you to think about is being very covetous of your time. And if you're going to be doing things one-on-one, you're going to be charging the most in the pyramid. At the very top, it says one-on-one personal coaching, one-on-one executive coaching, one-on-one business coaching. That's where you would be spending your time and charging the most money. At the very bottom, one of the first things that you want to do is have a free giveaway in exchange for, as Gary was saying when we were talking about the public speaking piece, when somebody gives you their email address, you're going to just exchange the email address for a free product, a free white paper. Maybe use that recording you're going to do next week as the free giveaway, and you start with that. You build a relationship with people. And remember, it takes 6 to 7 touch points for a person to do business with you nowadays on the internet. So they may go to your website 5, 6, 7 times before they'll do anything. So be patient about those things, but know that they have to get familiar with you. So the first thing that you want to do is give them something that gives them an insight into your soul. So you're a thought leader in X, give them a product that really articulates that well. And then just the building blocks around this in terms of you go from the free product to an entry-level product that may be, in the $35 range. And then the layer above that is a product that may be in the $150 range. And then you'll have one that's maybe approaching $1,000. And then you might have a retreat that you do that's a group of 10 people that you're charging $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a piece for. And then at the very top of that is your one-on-one coaching. So when we think about your suite of services, we think about your product offering, just for your purposes now, take out a piece of paper, and if you've been making notes, just draw a pyramid and start filling in your layers. What are you going to offer there? And give it thought and focus on one at a time. So focus right now just on that foundation, that base layer. What will be your free giveaway? And all the ideas we put here, an ebook, MP3 recording, webinar, DVD, whatever it is. What are you going to give away, and focus on that first, and then build from there. But all the time focused on the fact that you need to be covetous of your time. You need to spend time where it's your highest and best use only. Please give that some thought. So Gary, now's the time we're going to put them to work, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think, we have requests of all of you. We want you to do some things with what you've learned today. First thing, we want you to think bigger. Think beyond just that one-on-one work. Think beyond where you may have been in terms of where your practice is and how many people you can serve. Think bigger. Get some confidence and know that you're here to serve people, and there's an unbelievable need. We don't have enough coaches. So there's a huge need worldwide for the work that we do. Embrace that and think bigger. So what are you going to do this week to get new clients? Hopefully you've made lots of copious notes around this, and you can come up with, you've got 10 options right here that we've given you. What are you going to do this week to get some new clients? And then just take one thing today. This is back to the focus piece. What one thing that you learned can you implement this week? What one thing? And then the last piece, Gary, speak to this if you would, and let people know just what it's going to take to be successful in terms of the focus on this last piece.
Your job as a coach, until you have a full-time practice of clients, full-paying clients that it's profitable and it's working for the lifestyle and the income that you want. Your job is to be the sales and marketing expert for your business. You need to get in front of people. You need to do demonstrations. You need to find people that you can get in front of and actually do live coaching sessions with, and have them set aside an hour, maybe more, so that you can actually work with them so they can see what it is that you're doing in the coaching arena, and they can actually have an experience of it, so that they can either do one of two things: make a choice to hire you as their coach, or number two, they can refer you to someone else that they think you would be a match for. So on the screen here it says marketing a day a week. I would say, and if you don't have a full practice, then that's your job, to market yourself, to get in front of people and to let them know what it is that you do. If they can make a choice to hire you, or they can also, you can ask them to refer you to someone else. Now, here's the other thing that's exciting about this, is that you can do this a lot of different ways. And there's a lot of you out there that are very creative. And let me say it again, very creative. You want to use your creativity. You can get on other people's blogs, and you can blog and draw attention towards you or your website. You can create your own blog and go to other people's areas of where other people hang out and send them to your blog. You can write white papers. You can do public speaking. You can do all these things that we talked about that draw attention towards you. But if you don't have a full practice, do not kid yourself. You are the vice president in charge of sales and marketing for your particular practice, and you need to go out and make it happen whatever way that is. Now, some people, Drayton, it happens a lot to us. Some people come from a sales and marketing background, people that were formerly in charge of a certain sales or marketing for an organization, and some of them were lifelong salespeople. Well, then you know what to do. Go out and do it. But if you don't have that sales and marketing experience, you need to find a way to get in front of people and to get your name in front of people and draw attention towards you, so that you can do demonstrations and you can share your coaching experience with people. Now, who would those people be? Well, they would be people inside of your niche that you created. But let me just share with you, I was with a group of executive, more than 10 executives at one time, doing a group facilitation process yesterday, all owners of businesses, all successful businesses, and we spent the entire day them languaging the struggles that they're going through, the concerns that they have in their businesses. You would not believe the lists of time issues around they're working too many hours, their employees are working too many hours, money issues, too much month at the end of money, profit issues. Some of them were making so much money they were struggling to meet with attorneys and getting good referrals for attorneys, so that they could put trust together, so that they could put money in their trust for their family and the future of their business. Some of them were having hiring and firing employee issues with employees and key decision makers in their organization. Some of them had never heard of profiles and assessments or how to use profiles and assessments. It was a great big full-fledged day of working with these guys and gals to show them the missings inside of their business. And you're so needed. Don't be stingy. Go out there and share yourself and find ways to get in front of people and expose yourself to people in ways that they can see the value of an outside objective opinion, a coach that is not them, that it does not have their worries, does not have their concerns, that is not emotionally tied to their particular set of circumstances, because you're needed out there and you're wanted out there. And please, get yourself out there and share yourself with other people so you can help and make a difference in the world. Drayton and I are committed that you get out there and you make a difference with other people in the world and share your skill sets, your wisdom, your background, your experience, and your coaching skills so that you can make a difference in the world, make the world a better place.
Yeah, folks, and other than that, Gary and I have no enthusiasm around this industry.
I'm sorry, I can't help. I apologized up front, Drayton. I can't help myself.
You know, the great thing is, folks, we want you to be as passionate as we are. We've been doing this a long time, and Gary and I jump out of bed every single morning still fired up. I cannot wait to get in my office to just embrace the day, and we want you to be that fired up too. And Gary, I've got requests coming from both of us to all of you that are listening right now. Let's engage in this conversation further. Let's go to the WBECS page on Facebook and continue the conversation. Gary and I both are committed to going there, and we'll answer any and all questions. In fact, we want to have as many people go. Please go and just, okay, this burning question's coming up for me, and what about this? We will go and devote as much time and energy as it takes to respond to every single question today. So please go there. Let's continue the conversation. And the other cool thing is that when you go there on the BCES page on Facebook, we're going to get exposure to so many more people. So we want to spread that message about coaching and how great it is and what wonderful people are involved in this industry. So please go to the page and let's make it happen. So Ben, thank you for having us. Our sincere appreciation to all of you. It is amazing how many people stayed with us the entire time. In fact, it's the highest percentage I have ever seen on a webinar in terms of people that started and the people that are still
almost
with
everybody.
us. Almost everyone. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And Gary and I both thank you for doing what you do.
Thanks,
this
man.
is a beautiful industry. It's a calling, and we greatly appreciate you. Gary, you want to wrap it up for us?
Thank you, Ben. Yeah, thank you, Ben, and we appreciate you having us again this year and allowing us the opportunity to work with people and share some of the things that we're passionate about. I also, again, want to mirror my colleague and friend Drayton's enthusiasm and comments. This morning I was so excited about today and so excited about doing this, I forgot to turn the shower faucet off when I jumped out of the shower today, Drayton. I had to go back and flip the shower off. I was ready, fire, aim, and ready to get here today and share with people like you and I do so much throughout the year together and separately, Drayton. Thanks for having us, Ben, and thanks for doing Webex so that people can have exposure to some of the great minds and thought leaders and experts in our field.
Hey, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. I absolutely have the pleasure is all mine to get to hang out with people like you and Drayton. So thank you so much for a fantastic session. Okay, so there was a lot of questions that came through. What I would encourage you to do is to jump on the Facebook wall and let's have a little discussion there amongst all of us. So if you go to facebook.com/WBECS, you should know that by now. And then please go and hang out. Drayton and Gary are going to be there for the next while. There's already a few comments on there, so please jump on there and the conversation shall continue. Whatever questions you have, I think it was probably about, let me actually do it. I can tell you exactly how many numbers. There's actually 44 questions were asked in the last hour or so. So those people that asked those questions, please jump on the Facebook wall and the conversation will continue. So thank you everyone for joining us for today. And I would like to give a huge thank you to both Drayton and to Gary for today's session. You'll be able to find the notes from the session, the slides, and the also the transcription in the members area within the next 48 hours. The recording's normally up within, I think my team is so awesome, they normally get it up within about 5 hours. But that you'll find all that in the members area. So please jump on there. In the meantime, though, jump onto facebook.com/WBECS and I'll join there. Now, tomorrow we have young Dr. Goldsmith, Dr. Marshall Goldsmith is going to be presenting a session, so do not miss that. It's going to be pretty awesome. I believe his session is on at 2 p.m. UK time, which is 7. No, it's not. I'm lying. It's 9 a.m. Eastern time and 6 a.m. Pacific time. I'm not going to try and guess any other time zones. So please do jump on for that. You will really much enjoy that. We also have Catherine Tolpa, who's the CEO of the Association for Coaching, and also Mary Beth O'Neill, who's very popular. She'll be on at 8 p.m. UK time. So without further ado, I'm going to call this session to an end and give one big final thank you to Drayton and Gary. So thank you so much, gentlemen. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Ben. You're most welcome.
Yeah, our pleasure. Our pleasure, Ben. Good job with everything you've done.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.